So today I really want to chat to you all a little bit about what I've called an identity crisis, but it could just be a bit of an inner crisis that a lot of people seem to be experiencing on a vast array of levels at the moment because of current situations. Now, identity is a funny thing because we tend to identify ourselves with the things that we do in our life as opposed to who we really are internally. Does that make sense? So, for example, we identify ourselves as the job we have, or business we have, or career, whatever it is that you're doing for work. We identify that as a piece of who we are instead of it being something that we do. Other things that we identify ourselves as can be hobbies, can be projects, can be things that we do in our life. So it might be that we're a gym goer, or we're a yoga person, or we're a horse rider or a hiker, or I'm using stuff for myself, but you get what I mean. Labels, identities, these are components of things that you do in your life. And when they are taken away from us, or when they change, we can go through an identity crisis. And I'm seeing this happen quite a lot recently because of current situations, and people have lost their jobs, or they've got new jobs, or they're not able to do all of the things that they would normally do in their day-to-day lives that they identify as being them. And it's bringing up a lot of stuff in people. So I've noticed an increase in people expressing to me that they're feeling emotional, that they're feeling sad or depressed, or struggling with like the internal waters that's coming up in them. And I think sometimes this comes down to that we've put these identities on ourselves. And I want to just be a really simple reminder today that you are not any of those things. You're not. You're not your job. You're not your hobbies. You're not what you do. Who you are as a person, that's internal. That's from a heart space. That's how you show up to yourself, how you show up to your partner, your family, your children, your friends, everyone. Who you are is not anything external from you. Please remember that right now. And I know personally too that it's really hard when you can't do the things that would normally make you feel more you, right? Because sometimes your hobbies, your things that you do in general, not just work related, but things that you do in your life, we can identify as pieces of who we are. Then they're pieces that help make you feel more whole and help bring you back to you, but it's not actually who you are. So I want to be just a gentle reminder that everything that's happening will eventually end, and that you're going to be okay, and that you'll be able to start doing the things again that are really important to you. And you get to have an opportunity during this to look at your own identities and see, where are you placing yourself in external things? You're not your job, you're not your relationship, you're not your hobbies, you're not the things you do. Who you are and who you want to be. So I'm not taking away any of the heaviness of feeling like you've lost pieces of yourself or feeling like you're not quite yourself at this time. I feel like that's quite a normal thing to navigate at this point. But it's okay to feel like that. And it's okay to go, I didn't even want that to be my identity anyway. Or any other way that you're experiencing it. It's okay. It's completely okay. But maybe it gives you an opportunity to check in with yourself and ask, what do I identify myself as? Who do I identify myself as? How would I like to identify myself in future? Seemingly simple questions, but it's funny the things that we can put our identity into. So I'm really curious to hear from you today. What do you feel like you put your identity into, and how does that shift how you feel? Because even if you know it's not something that you are, it's something that you do, you're still allowed to feel sadness or to grieve over that loss or to feel uncertain about your future. All of those things are quite natural. So I'll share a personal example. A lot of you are aware I am the horsewoman. I've been riding ever since I was 9 years old. Horses are such a major part of my life and a major part of who I feel I am, because horses bring me so much happiness. Riding brings me so much happiness. In a respect, for me, horse riding is kind of like a form of meditation, because I'm never anywhere else other than right there present. For anyone that rides, you know that you cannot be anywhere else. You can't, because that's when something's gonna happen, because you are in this beautiful partnership with this incredible, powerful animal that allows you to sit on top of them and to guide them and to trust you to look after them. So you go together. This beautiful animal with its own heart, mind, and soul connects with you, and you have this connection like no other. And it's like having a type of freedom. So riding has been such a massive component of my life. And around about 5 months ago, I lost my horse, and it's a very long story. If you'd like to know, I'm happy to share it another day. And while I grieved, it's only been of recent times that I've really acknowledged that I also felt like I lost a piece of my identity, because at the moment I don't have any horses. I'm not riding every day or every other day. I'm not doing a piece of myself that felt like it was me. And it was interesting because I really had to sit with this grief within myself and allow myself to process that and give myself permission to really feel it, to let it go. Because I know, logically, this is just a chapter, and it won't be long before I'm riding again and then more horses are in my life, because that's just how my life has gone. They find me, it always happens, it will happen again, and I trust that, I truly trust that. But there was a part of me that hadn't acknowledged that loss of that chapter, that loss of what I identified a piece of myself as being. And so I share this because we all have chapters that end in our life in any shape or form, whether it's work, relationships, financial, hobbies, anything else. We all have chapters that end. And there's like the interim, the adjustment, the change. And so giving yourself permission to feel whatever comes up is truly important, I think. To allow yourself to grieve, to feel sad, to, even feel the joy of having lived what lived. And you're allowed to be uncertain about the future because it's not here yet. But giving yourself that check-in that it's okay. It might be a part of how I like to ideally live my life, but I haven't lost that piece of me. It's not something that can be lost because it's in my heart. And my heart is always here and it's always beating for me. So maybe checking in with how you're identifying yourself and where you're putting your identity, how you're feeling about yourself and your life at the moment, because I don't really know too many people that through all of this that their life has stayed pretty much the same. Like routines have changed, work's changed, hobbies changed, like literally all of the things have changed. It's crazy. So with saying that, have you given yourself an opportunity to really feel that magnitude? Because it's okay. Because remember, emotion, energy, moving, we need to feel it, acknowledge it, thank it for the lesson. So for example, the horse lesson for me, it's just reminding me that, hey, this is actually really important for you to stay aligned, to stay who you are. So don't leave it too long before you start riding again, before you start spending time with horses again, before you start da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. It's your soul and your heart reminding you what's really important. On the flip side of that, it can be yourself reminding you of what you're not. So your work identity, for example, I know people can really feel that they are their job. It's not. It's something that you do, and it can cause distress because you can feel judged for what you do or don't do. You can feel less than or better than, depending on what your role is and what you do. That's not who you are either. So there's the two sides of it. It's reminding you who you're not, and it's reminding you who you are. So when you sit with your identity, what and who do you identify yourself as? Just a few little thoughts for you to ponder today. And as always, I'd love to hear from you, so feel free to DM or pop some comments below. Otherwise, have a great day.